Hello again. I just wanted to do a real quick video on this Super Nintendo here. This is actually mine from when I was a kid. That's how long I had this thing. I'm 37 now, so that just shows you how old this Super Nintendo is. But anyways, so this is my Super Nintendo from when I was a kid, and I was browsing on Facebook last night and I came across an ad for an ultra rare SNES. Plays Japanese and American games, and modified, technically modified, or highly technical modification added, I think it said. Whatever the ad said. I was extremely skeptical at first, and he was asking $400 for his Super Nintendo. And so I messaged him. I was like, "Oh, what kind of modifications did you do?" You know, and he's all like, "Oh, I added a special chipset that allows you to play Japanese games and European Super Nintendo games as well." And I was like, "Okay, what kind of chip was it? Does it, you know, does it convert like the text to English or something?" He's like, "No, it's a specially designed chipset for the Super Nintendo." This is what he's writing back to me. It's a specially designed chipset for the Super Nintendo that allows you to play Japanese games and European games. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. I don't think I'm interested in your product, and it's actually rather simple to hack your own Super Nintendo to allow it to play SNES games and Japanese Super Famicom games and European SNES games. And he never messaged me back after that. I think he knew I was onto him. So he was asking $400 for a Super Nintendo, no games, apparently ultra modified, or however he put it, you know, ultra rare modified Super Nintendo. That's how he put it, ultra rare modified Super Nintendo. So this is mine here, and I just want to show you guys that it's actually quite easy to modify your Super Nintendo to play Japanese games and even some European games too. I'm not sure about all of them. I know it can play all Japanese games, but I'm not sure if it can play all the European games because I don't have any. But I do actually have some Japanese games for my Super Nintendo that I used to play all the time too. My mom was a flight attendant, and anytime a new game came out in Japan and she just happened to fly there, I would cut out a picture from a magazine of the game that I wanted. And she would take it to the store in Japan and bring home the game. And I knew about this modification for a long time because I'm the type of person that likes to take things apart, and when I first got my Super Nintendo, I had to see how it looked on the inside, and so I did. And what I ended up doing was taking it apart, and I didn't know that there was like a special region lock for these for Super Nintendo to Japanese games. And my mom brought a Japanese game home that I wanted, and it didn't fit. It didn't fit in here. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't power on, and I was super bummed. And I didn't have the heart to tell my mom that it wasn't working. So I took apart my Super Nintendo, and I just stuck the cartridge in with it bare bones, with the top off, and it worked. And then I figured out what the problem was. And I see a lot of videos on this too now, which is really good, and I'm glad people are like showing that off. All right. So first up, we're going to do Donkey Kong Country. Okay, so we're just going to put that in real quick and power it up. There you can see it's working. And don't mind the crappy video quality on this TV. Unfortunately, the AV out on my Super Nintendo went out. It's no longer working, and originally I thought it was a cable, so I bought a new one online and tried it, and it didn't work at all. So the AV cables don't work anymore, so unfortunately I have to run my Super Nintendo off of the coaxial, the RF coaxial cable, which sucks. It really makes the quality look like shit. But yeah, so Donkey Kong Country is there working. So just gonna shut it off. next we're gonna do a Japanese game. So I have here Super Mario RPG. Wonderful game, probably one of my most favorite games on the Super Nintendo, I'd have to say. And a lot of people will disagree, but I actually really like this game. I do have the American version, but you know, I found this at a garage sale for $2, so I figure, why not? But anyways, okay, let's give Mario RPG a try. So just put it in, turn on the system, give it a second. And of course it doesn't want to work now. Okay, let's eject it. Let's put it back in. There you go. This cartridge could be dirty too. It's kind of been sitting for a long time. So, okay, power on. There we go. There we go. The contacts of the cartridge is probably a little dirty. I'll have to clean that up. But yeah, there you go. You can see Super Mario RPG Japanese version. You can see it right there in the corner. It says JPN. Right here it says JPN. Come on, focus. Right there it says JPN. So that's Japan release. And there you go. So yeah, my ultra rare Super Nintendo seems to be working very well with Japanese games. Now, real quick, I just want to show you guys the modifications. So I'm going to turn this off, eject the game, and I have the top loose already, so I'm just going to take off the top here. Now you can actually run the Super Nintendo games, or the Super Famicom games, just like this. And this is how I had done it as a kid. Is you can put it, if you don't want to make the modification to your SNES, you can run it this way. See, works just fine. Japanese Super Famicom game. Now, if you want to make the modification to your Super Nintendo, I'll show you real quick. Well, I'll try to, because I don't want to take the whole thing apart yet. So, alright, so we're outside now. See if I got a little bit of lighting, better lighting out here. So, see if I can do this one-handed. You can look down in there and you can see those tabs right there. There's one right there. You can see where I cut it. And there's one right under my thumb, which I don't know how well you guys will be able to see. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, there's one more right there. And once you cut those tabs off, the Super Famicom games will slot right into the top of this. Now, the regular North American games, they had little slots on them originally, as you can see right here, that would fit right into those tabs. So those would the tabs would slot right into there. But as you can see on the Super Famicom games, those tabs aren't there, and that's what used to prevent the Famicom cartridges from going in, for those two little tabs, so you couldn't play Japanese games on your regular Super Nintendo. The only thing you have to be worried about is that these cartridges are a little bigger, as you can see from this comparison here. The North American cartridges are a little larger than the Super Famicom, so you just got to be careful slotting your Famicom game in, because as you can see here, there's kind of a lot of play, and you can risk damaging the card on the bottom of the system, because you can see you can move the cartridge around. So if you slot this into the top wrong, not lined up properly, you risk breaking or damaging this bottom card. So I'm not responsible if you damage your Super Nintendo for doing this, but yeah, just letting you guys know that you gotta be very careful when you slot the games in if you're gonna do this modification. But anyways, that's gonna be it for today. Watch out for Facebook scams, and yeah, don't buy into people's bullshit that try to sell you like bullshit bullshit ultra rare Japanese modified Super Nintendos on Facebook for $400. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. You guys have a wonderful day.